Okay. Well,
do it again.
And then it's super loud in my ear because, panic. All right. Hey, how you doing? All right. On our play for this week, Bungie is finally ready to reveal Marathon this week. And I'm excited. Are you? Well, we'll see. We'll see. We got a ton of details on the Nintendo Switch 2. And is PlayStation interested in bringing back the PS Vita? Maybe. Well, we have all that and more on this episode of Press X to Start Gamers Digest. What? No, Season 9, Episode 14 of, look, we're here. All right. And then I do the intro. You know what? I'm not going to do the intro. Because this is just a garbage truck on fire right now. But hey, look, we're here. Marcus, you can clean this up.
The people pay good money for this, DJ. Get it together.
Oh, geez. Okay. So what's up, everyone? This is me, your host, DJ, a.k.a. Sexy Bad Choices, a.k.a. Sometimes things are supposed to work and they just don't work. I am joined by
John MF Ross.
What does the MNF stand for?
Secret Squirrel here with Morocco Mole.
Makes sense.
DJ, Marcus, throw all the other shit in the back like a damn Marvel after credits. There you go.
All right. This is Press X Start Gamers Digest, a video podcast. Nope, a video game news show that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We're live on YouTube every week when we can make it because life is hard.
But listening to us is easy. Sometimes.
Yes, it is. Sometimes. Except for when the computer decides not to have anybody listen to us. Then, we do what we can. All right. Don't forget, you can support us by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell. If you are listening, you can actually hear us. We greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast service you're currently tuned in on. And if you want, you can join our conversation by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. Go ahead. Jump in. We're having a good time. Surviving, thriving. I don't know. Couldn't think of anything that rhymes. All right. Now that we have all this figured out and the audio taken care of, I think it is time for us to jump into the gaming news with number 1. Bungie is finally ready to show us Marathon gameplay, and they confirm the live stream details. This comes to us from IGN by way of, let me go ahead and just flip this over so we can just, play the little video teaser trailer they got going on. By way of Vicky Blake. So, this is very interesting. There was a community ARG saw players work together to uncover secrets hidden in the video teaser. I'm not sure where they got the where they saw like these little hints or whatever, but I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. Because I saw a trailer like, oh, this looks pretty. And that's as far as I got into the trailer. So in the trailer, you're getting a first-person perspective of, I'm assuming, the characters that you can play as, or maybe like the zone cameras that are able to like scope out the environment. So you get like little glimpses of a foot moving through, one of the characters getting shot, like a bunch of stuff happening. And then you see this like really like brightly colored pink cat kind of jump through the environment, and it gets like really close to your face or whatever. And all this is leading up to the Marathon gameplay reveal date, which will be this week, April 12th. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
at 1 p.m. here?
Yeah, 1 p.m. here. Yeah.
I don't want to wait that long.
Yeah, I know, right? So if you don't know or don't remember what Marathon is the Bungie game that they are working with I think they were working on it before they got acquired by
Sony.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, you're right. Sony, yes, not PlayStation, Sony. And this is going to be a multi-platform game, and this is going to be a extraction shooter. But this is, of course, made by Bungie, who are the people who made Halo. They make Destiny as well. They make fantastic shooters. So I think with all of the conversations about, oh, this is another first person shooter in the oversaturated market of first person shooters, will this succeed? Will this become like a Concord? Tough to say. We don't know, but it is Bungie and they make great shooters. So it's like they at least have that down. The idea of this being an extraction shooter, I think right now we are in the I don't even want to say like at the peak of extraction shooters because
Mhm.
when you think of extraction shooters, it's what Tarkov and I think like Hunt Showdown is like the big ones on PC. But in terms of console,
And then we had DMZ, but they went and
we
fucked
had
that up.
DMZ. Exactly. Yeah. They nixed that essentially. So yeah. So there's not really like a staple extraction shooter on consoles.
Mhm.
Could Marathon be that? Maybe. We'll find out April 12th. But okay, so yeah, what's your hype levels for Marathon?
Um, it's a new property, so I'm not quite
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
I never really got into Halo,
Okay.
never really got into Destiny. I don't like the floatiness,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. So
I know what you mean.
I'll give it a try. I mean, I did enjoy the little bit of Destiny that I did play, but I never played I played the PvE, not the PvP portion. What is it, the Crucible
Okay.
or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy the way it feels. I'll give this a try though. It looks interesting. The aesthetic looks cool.
Yeah.
And Bungie always has high praise for their game, so that's enough to warrant a try at least.
Yeah. I'm as much as I am a like Bungie fan, I am pretty much on the same boat where for me, my first person shooter, ignoring GoldenEye, my first person shooter on like the PlayStation, Xbox, that genre or that era of consoles was Halo.
Mhm.
So I got accustomed to how that moved or whatever. And then from there, I jumped to Call of Duty, got accustomed to how that moved. And then I jumped to Destiny. I kind of had to go back to like the floatiness and kind of get, a grasp of that. But then I went back to Call of Duty. So I'm just like kind of going back and forth between them.
Yeah,
So I totally understand like the floatiness being weird and not feeling great. And there's times where I definitely feel that. I'm like, I just want to be on the ground. I hope
yeah,
that they make this feel more grounded and like you're not like you're not a robot without any weight. Like I want it to feel weighty, like Call of Duty essentially. But we'll see. In terms of
yeah.
this whole community ARG thing, so last week the Destiny developer dropped a mysterious tweet that included a bizarre 15-second video that immediately set fans soothing as part of an extensive alternative reality game ARG. Players realized that within the ASCII art, this jumped, was a snippet of footage from the initial trailer. And if they looked closely, they noticed that it's the runner sprinting down a hall from the trailer. Another noted, uh, this is the quote, when will he return? Error has occurred. The enemy return system warning. Protocol breach. Evacuate the base immediately. All units report to station and initiate emergency protocol 7. Data loss imminent. Good luck, Commander. Sure. I don't know. Basically, they were just dropping a bunch of stuff in in that little snippet of trailer. And then there's another quote. Thousands of community members. Oh, what? Why is this? Oh, Bungie said it. Okay. Thousands of community members across the world work together to unlock the gameplay reveal date for Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter marathon. Bungie said in a statement before revealing that this weekend's live stream is set for 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. and there's a bunch of different times. So yeah, good job, community. You did it. You unlocked it for the rest of us who had no idea this was even happening. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have more information on this later this week, and then we'll talk about it in the Sunday cast or Monday cast, depending on how life is, because life is hard. So yeah, that's it. Overall, I am excited for this. I feel like I am optimistic on this, and not even like cautiously optimistic. I don't think, because people are, of course, comparing this to Concord already by saying like, oh, there's no gameplay. We don't know what this is going to be like. So hopefully it's not going to be another Concord. I think Bungie has enough experience to not position their game in that way. I think the best thing they can do is have this gameplay snippet or have this gameplay trailer and either do a open beta or a closed beta, and at least give people the opportunity to play the game and then talk about the game. Whereas that was the fatal flaw of Concord, where they just kind of left people to their own conclusions, and on top of the character art and all that stuff. But yeah, I just hope that they show us the game, and then we have a chance to be in a beta to actually play the game and see. Or they can be like, hey, look, the game is coming out in 2 weeks, surprise, or whatever. I don't know. Yeah,
it's a rough year for it to come out.
I feel like I don't know. It's a rough year, but I don't think there's any FPS competition other than like Doom. But that's not.
I don't think anybody's playing any genre exclusively. Anybody playing this is also going to be playing GTA, is also probably going to be playing Mario Kart, whatever.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, well, in that case, yeah. No, yeah, I agree. There's going to be a ton of good games out this year. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is that for the marathon news. Number 2. So this is a Nintendo Switch 2 wrap up. So last week we had the Nintendo Direct, Nintendo Switch 2, long title, crazy title. And we got a bunch of games that's going to be coming to the Switch 2. Well, we didn't get too much information about the Switch 2 itself in terms of the price, when it's coming out, pre-orders. But as the week progressed after the Direct, we had a bunch of stuff just come out, whether it be leaks or officially confirmed by Nintendo. And there was also the elephant in the room that happened that same day, where Donald Trump announced a bunch of tariffs in a chat GPT laid out chart, whatever. But yeah, and that immediately sent everybody in a tailspin, including the entire world. And we're here now. So where is here? So from what was announced at the Direct, the Switch 2 is going to be arriving June 5th. And the base model is going to cost $450, with the Mario Kart World bundle being $500 before the tariffs. After the tariffs broke, Nintendo basically halted everything. They were going to do pre-orders like April 9th, but they said, we're not going to do that.
Oh, no. They're doing pre-orders specifically themselves early May. Other retailers are doing it April 9th. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically that's where that is now. But before this, they had stopped the pre-orders because they had to figure out what they're going to price the console, because they essentially what happened was Nintendo tried to get around this whole tariff thing by trying to guess what Trump was going to do. So they moved their production out of China and into Taiwan and another place that can produce the stuff for the Switch 2. But when the tariffs dropped, those two places got hit with like super, super high tariffs.
Well, he recently is talking about debating suspending tariffs for 90 days for everywhere except China. So
yeah. So so that's the update now. But like basically all this stuff was happening while we were sitting with the two price tags of 450 and 500. And then there was speculations of like, oh, the Switch can cost like 50% more. Like all this stuff was going out because no one knew what was happening in the world in terms of what they were going to do.
Well, my wife loves sales, so I'll be able to convince her to get it if they're going to raise the price due to tariff. So I think I'm in there.
Right. So yeah, basically right now, just assume that it's going to be 450, the bundle 500, because by the time June rolls around, more than likely the way that Trump moves, especially with the tariffs, especially with him talking about 90 days or whatever, we're probably not going to get anything. Or we're probably not going to see any like tariffs really like hit anywhere. So that's that. Sean, you talk about the pre-orders. Nintendo.
I will say, for everybody curious or irritated at the $450 price, the Switch one came out in 2017 for $300. $300 now is worth roughly $388. If the Switch 2 was, let's say, launched back then, $350 in 2017 is worth roughly $453. It feels like they're being greedy. I understand that. They're a business, they gotta make money. If they price this shit at $300, that would be the equivalent of let me see, like selling it for $250, essentially. They'd be selling it. If they sold it for $300, they'd be selling it for ultimately less than the original Switch. About $230. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it just feels like those sons of bitches, but
so from what I've heard, it seems that like because the region lock Switch 2, when you transfer it from yen to the dollar, it's like 350 or something.
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe they wanted to price it around 400, but to predict the tariffs, they raise everything up 50. So that's how you get the weird 450 price, and then you get the 500 price, because generally consoles are just like a flat like 100, like 300, 400, 500.
Yeah.
I think the PlayStation 4 Pro was like 450 or something.
I'm gonna look at it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it seems that like, okay, they're trying to get around the tariffs by just attacking on that 50, like hoping that would like clear things for them. But of course that didn't, because real life is real life and we're living it every day. So this is where we are. As I said before, there's been a bunch of stuff dropping for the Switch 2 in terms of confirming things. Weird things like Nintendo confirms that you will have to pay to use the Switch 2 C button. So the C button is that game chat button that you saw in the direct. When you get your Switch 2, you will get a free trial period to use game chat, but then you have to sign up for Nintendo Switch Online to get access to it. So it's a weird thing of having a button with limited functionality for certain people, or I should say no functionality for certain people, because it's speculated that if you press the button, it will just take you to the NSO screen to
buy this.
Yeah, right. It's just like that's so weird to me that this wasn't a software thing, but it's actually a hardware thing that they have. Yeah. And then on top of that, like, to be nitpicky, but also understanding, when they showed the actual game chat and how it functions in their direct, the actual resolution or the performance of the screens in terms of the frames per second was not great. It looked very choppy. But again, it's just like, they're just showing you stuff so you can glance down quickly to see where your friends are in a race per se, because that was the example that they used for Mario Kart World. But, most of the actual power should be dedicated to the game you're playing. So that's like a give and take there. I don't. What's your thoughts on the game chat thing? Like, I don't know if that's a cool idea or not. I'm just like,
Nintendo is charging for old technology. They must have been learning from Apple. I ain't happy about it, but damn it, I need to play Mario Kart.
Yeah, man. I think it's such a weird move that I think for me feels like them being like, well, we're launching the sequel to the Switch, and normally we try to do something that's interesting in each of these consoles. So like, what software stuff can we put in here to make it interesting? Because we're not going to really change up the hardware too much other than the mouse thing, which per the previews that I've watched and listened to, the mouse doesn't feel that great because it's just a Switch a Joy-Con on inside, and it's like, oh, that kind of sucks. But what was I expecting? Because it's just a Joy-Con on inside. So yeah, hey man, if you have NSO, you got it. You got a C button right there, ready for you to use once you get the console. If you get the console, but if you don't, go ahead and just tape that button down. Pretend it doesn't exist. All right. Nintendo confirmed the Switch 2 Joy-Cons don't use Hall effect joysticks. So, for those who don't know, okay. Oh, yeah, let me explain. So for those who don't know, Hall effect joysticks is basically the joystick like mechanisms that's better proofed against Joy-Con drift or like joystick drift.
Yeah.
So yeah, the technology in the Hall effect joysticks use like magnets to track the movement of the joystick versus the current technology that doesn't do that. But the current technology is more likely to wear away to have that joystick drift, whereas the Hall effect is,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it uses magnets or potentiometers instead of whatever the hell.
I like that second one. That second one sounds really cool.
Or that might be what the current sticks use. I don't remember.
I want that in my mouse. One.
Oh, okay.
Potentiometers in my mouse, in my shoes too. But yeah, it's a thing of, Nintendo knows they have this issue with your mouse froze or your camera froze.
Oh, hope it's on a good face.
Yeah, it is. It looks like you are focused on something off screen. There you go. So yeah, it's a thing of Nintendo knows that this is a problem. Nintendo's is a big problem that affected a lot of their Joy-Cons, but instead of spending that money, they decided to not do that. And
I mean, you can make the controllers $100 if you want.
I would rather have Hall effect in the Joy-Cons than the mouse. Like,
they probably made a contract for X company and they probably had to fulfill that contract.
Yeah.
Until X amount of date. Like, there are things behind the scenes. I'm not defending them. It's more of like devil's advocate. My wife works in contracts. I know sometimes you're contractually obligated to do X, Y, Z, or
Yeah.
Who knows?
No. I mean, you're right. It's just a thing of like Nintendo had an opportunity here and they went with the this will probably make us more money in the future if we just kind of keep it this way. Well, although to their credit, they did say that there is different technology in the joysticks that's supposed to be better. So
They put an extra piece of styrofoam in the
yeah,
controller.
right.
But I mean, just buy your damn Joy-Cons from Best Buy and get the darn Geek Squad protection, because anytime my
Oh, yeah.
PS5 controllers start to wear out, just swap it out at Best Buy.
Yeah. I mean, or you can just buy the Pro controller, which is like $80, $90 or whatever. That's sort of a joke because that's really expensive for a controller.
I
But like,
mean, this
you
this
know,
this this hobby ain't cheap.
that's true. That's true. Next up, we have Switch 2 owners can borrow, resell, and use Nintendo's game key cards. That was from the Verge. So all that is to say is that the game key cards are not locked to a Nintendo account, which is great. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say other than that. Like, is that you hate that idea or do you love that idea?
Neither here nor there.
Yeah. Okay. Nintendo Switch 2 won't have achievements. Nintendo's confirmed.
Whack.
Yeah, it sucks, but I'm not surprised because I feel like,
They don't like any type of
competition.
competitiveness or achievement,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. Maybe they'll get them in the next 10 years or something, the next system,
Yeah.
whatever.
Because it seems like they
Actually,
just want.
you know what? No, they can implement them at any time. So,
Oh, yeah. I mean, they can just try. Yeah.
because I mean, Sony did that mid
Yeah.
PS3, I want to say. So, it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen.
Yeah. But
It's just
again,
something.
I think your first statement is correct. Like they see how that can be sort of toxic in a way. And if it's toxic, they ain't want to deal with it. So, it's cheaper for them to let the developers add like little trophies and achievements in their own games versus having like a system-wide thing.
Yeah.
And then third-party support. So we saw it on the Switch 2 Direct that there was a ton of third-party support, and apparently their parties are extremely happy with the horsepower of the Switch 2, which is good. I think the conversation was that it's like around the PS4 power, which is pretty good, seeing how people are still
It's
making games
portable.
for the PS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's portable. Yeah.
Well,
So it's just like,
that's not the impressive part. Is getting it in a package that thin.
oh yeah,
Because look
yeah,
how
for
big
sure.
the
Steam Deck and
and all them other competitors are.
yeah.
Granted,
So that's awesome.
the battery life is a little bit worse.
Yeah. And then more on the pricing front, the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade packs for Tears of the Kingdom and Legend or Breath of the Wild is just $10. So if you have those games, and actually let me just double check to make sure it's like, yeah, because it's just an upgrade pack. The upgrade packs are $10. Yeah, so that's awesome. Wait. The games are priced for the Nintendo Switch 2 at $69 for Breath of the Wild and $79 for Tears of the Kingdom. So that's another thing that we are about to jump into. But the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, the game that everyone's like, oh, that's a cool idea. And then at the end of the section of the direct, it was like, oh, it's a paid game. And everyone's like, why? Why are you doing this, Nintendo? That should be a free pack-in game. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It's $10. So it's not bad. It's not terrible, but like, it's kind of like, why? Why not? But again, I think the idea behind this with Nintendo is that because this is a update to the Switch 1 and the Switch 1 sold so well, they know that people have a bunch of Switch games.
That's not
So
the
it's
point.
like, it's definitely not the point, but it's just like, I feel like they can use it as a crutch to be like, well, we don't need a pack in because you guys are already going to have games to play on your Switch too. So spend the $10. Come on, do it.
I mean, the Wii had a packing game. The Wii U had a packing game.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. It should absolutely be a packing. I think that'd be a fantastic packing game. That because like it's basically a museum tour of the Switch 2, the console that you have right there. So it's like that's like the
Wackadoodle.
Astrobot Playroom. Like that's perfect to be in the Switch 2 as your first thing you turn on. No, you gotta pay $10 for that. Then if you want to talk to your friends while you're playing that, you gotta pay another whatever it is for the online. Ah, geez. Okay. But yeah, speaking of monies when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2 games, Switch 2 executive exclusive Mario Kart World justifies its $80 price tag. Nintendo insists in first comments addressing cost controversy. This comes to us from IGN by way of Simple. So, Nintendo has insisted Mario Kart World justify its shocking $80 price tag in response to controversy over the $10 hike for some Switch 2 games. Last week's Nintendo Direct revealed Switch 2 and launch title Mario Kart World, but it was not until after the showcase ended that the price for both products was confirmed. We talked about Switch 2, and Mario Kart World cost $80, $10 higher than the most expensive Nintendo published game for Switch, which was Tears of the Kingdom, which was $70. Ooh, okay. It's worth pointing out that the Nintendo is bundling Mario Kart World with a Nintendo Switch 2 for $500, cutting the cost of the game by a huge $30 in the process. However, Nintendo has indicated this bundle is a limited time offer. And it remains to be seen if the bundle holds at $500, given the uncertainty surrounding the tariff situation and Nintendo's pre-order delay in the US. But Mario Kart World isn't the only Nintendo Switch 2 game that will cost $80. Some of the Switch 2 edition games announcing during Nintendo Direct also cost $80. So we have Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, the plus the Starcross World. We got Mario Party Jamboree, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know why I think that.
Get it together.
So I just want to jump to the quotes. I'm jumping through the article. I didn't have plenty of reaction. Okay, so we need to point out here that our interview with Trinan,
Bill Trinan.
Trinan. There we go. Was conducted on April 3rd, 2025, prior to Nintendo's announcement about delaying Switch 2 pre-orders in the US due to the potential impacts of tariffs. In his response, Trinan insisted Mario Kart World justifies its price tag and pointed to the upcoming dedicated Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct, where fans will learn more about the game and what it has to offer. This is a quote. I would say it's less about the strategy of pricing Mario Kart World. It's more just whenever we look at a given game, we just look at what is the experience and what's the content and what's the value. Mario Kart World, I think, especially as you see from Nintendo Direct, not to give you any hints or anything, but I did read your article this morning, and I think you've mentioned that you didn't find a lot to discover when roaming around. They're talking about roaming around in the open world part of Mario. Yeah. So I would stay tuned for our Mario Kart Direct to see what maybe you'll be able to find out about that. But honestly, this is a game that is so big and vast, and you will find so many little things in it to discover. And there's still some other secrets remaining that I think as people end up buying and playing the game, they're going to find this to be probably the richest Mario Kart experience they've ever had. I would hope so at $80.
I think it'll be worth it. It just sucks that They're raising the price. Because I mean, I've seen people quoting that they've been playing Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe since it came out, and that's an impressive value per dollar proposition.
I mean,
It
yeah,
just sucks that we're in a economic, we're on the precipice of a downturn, and it feels like Switch is rolling up. Nintendo's rolling up on us like Debo, like running pockets.
yeah, and I think that's what it is. Where it's like, yeah, I'm sure the value of Mario Kart is probably more than $8, probably $120. But like,
Yeah,
you have to look at what your consumer can bear, and I
they,
really
they,
wonder.
I think they know what they can bear. They've done the market research.
But I think that market research was probably done in the Biden era. So it's just like I
Right.
honestly don't like. It's one of those things where it's like, I think on paper it's like, yeah, you could probably make a conversation or make an argument for like, yeah, we're gonna rate this $10, but it's Mario Kart. You get it once and you just play it forever. I all their updates are free, right? I don't know. I don't
Mm.
play Mario Kart, so but I'm assuming the updates are free. Maybe they're not. I would hope so. But like, it's that thing of like, you can make the argument, but I think with the console being 450 to 500, and then the games being $80, and then the accessories being even more money, it's just like it. This doesn't, to me, I
Mhm.
feel like with everything piled on top of each other, this pushes Nintendo out of that family friendly like console zone. And I think that's going to be rough going for the Nintendo Switch, because that was their main saving grace in terms of, oh, why does this game not look good as a PlayStation 5 game or a PlayStation 4 and
And that
Xbox
and
whatever
this is
game?
why games are taking longer and longer to come out and costing more and more to make if
Mhm.
we're comparing stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you end up making that comparison because it's like, this is monies, that's monies, and I have to use this monies to buy the thing, or I can use this money to buy that thing. So it's just like you end up making those like primitive comparisons because like that's what you're kind of forced to do. But I just feel like, I don't know. Like, again, as I said in our Discord chat, you can join our Discord by going to pressx2start.com/Discord. Yeah. But I was saying in the chats, like, I would hate to be in this in their position, because
Shoes
I
right now.
wouldn't know what to do. Because just like, you you have to make your monies, right? You have to pay people, so you gotta make the monies. But it's just like $80, like that's gonna push a lot of people out. And
Mm.
is that amount of people being pushed out enough to, you know, hit that whatever number that they need to hit? I don't know.
Magic number. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna make their money because I mean the people saying complaining is a for as many 4 million people or however many were watching the stream and all the people on the internet, it's still a small loud majority.
It is. Yeah, no, a loud
Parents,
minority.
you get what I'm trying to say. Well, parents
Yeah.
are gonna see this and be like, "Ah, god damn, this is a lot this Christmas," or they're not even gonna give a damn and they're gonna buy it.
Yeah. Or
If
they'd be like,
people
well,
if
you got
people are
Mario Kart at
buying
home, literally.
if people are buying $1,000 PS5s, however much they was going for during the pandemic, with barely any exclusive games at launch, and the Xbox Series X at a lesser, lesser
I
degree,
agree. Yeah.
they sure as damn well are gonna pay $1,000 for this upcoming season.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I just, I don't know. I mean, again, if
It feels like ass that you have to pay for the chat function, only because they have a useless button if you don't pay for Nintendo Switch Online. But you can't play online with PlayStation or Xbox either unless you have a membership,
a
a
membership. Yeah,
gold or
no, that's
whatever
true.
membership. It just
That's
feels
true.
like Nintendo, how could you do this to us? But
yeah, because it's like you're not used to doing that, but it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like that's a common thing.
They
that
are
you have to do
joining.
now.
They are joining the crowd. They're trying to move ever so slightly upmarket.
Mm-hmm.
People are used to Nintendo being the cheapest thing for the past 20 years because the Wii came out at $249.
Yep. Wii U barely
And
existed.
it can't go like that forever. Yeah. I actually had the prices up. Let me see. Shit, the GameCube came out $200. Xbox and PS2 was $300.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know, man.
So
I'm not defending them, by the way.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm just pointing out numbers and pointing out stuff.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people are like, oh, why you defend this multi-million-dollar company? Hey, man.
No. But they're the good ones. I promise.
Vote with your dollars. Don't buy more for me.
But yeah, if you listener are interested in getting the Switch 2, that bundle is going to be like the top thing because you are getting Mario Kart World on a deep discount, and Nintendo does not do discounts. So it's like that bundle is going to go like up and out like real quick. But we'll see. Hey, subscriber, I know we're like 40 minutes in or 49 minutes in, and so, but if you haven't, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, do all those things. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Number 3. New PlayStation handheld rumor spread as Sony sends out Switch 2 survey. Switch 2. Wait, PlayStation doesn't make Switch 2. What's happening here? All right, this comes to us from PC Guide. Oh, wait. By way of Hassam Nasir? Hassam Nasir? Okay. Recently, we have seen companies like HP and Microsoft show their interest in joining the handheld space. And while apart from leaks and rumors, we're still waiting to see some more official. And now Sony has also decided to join them. This comes after a post on X showed the popular console company asking its players about their thoughts on Nintendo Switch 2 and checking out what Nintendo is doing right. So this, oh my gosh, why can't I move down? Oh no. So this comes from that user that leaks EXTAS1STV. It says something. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and try to spell that out. Anyways, it comes from that guy. We are that person. I don't know who that person is. They've had a ton of rumors and stuff. Some of them is true. Some of them is like, oh, that didn't happen, but then it happens later on in some different way or whatever. But anyways, according to them, they posted a screenshot of a survey. Sony seems to be curious about a few different things, like what people think about the Switch 2, how likely they are to buy one, thoughts on the Switch 2 pre-order approach, and a few more. Now, the exact reason behind this survey is still not clear, but judging from the questions being asked, it's obvious that Sony is trying to gauge its competitors' impact. Here's a translated version of the original post. And I can't move this thing again because these ads are ridiculous. Okay. Sony is sending out survey asking their customers what they think about Switch 2. They asked how much interest you have in buying it, opinion on the Switch on the Nintendo Direct, and the impact it has on your perception of PlayStation, Nintendo, and the gaming market in general. What excites you the most about Switch 2, and your 3 main reasons for buying a Switch 2. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense. Like, the PS Portal did better than they expected, and they understand that the handheld market it's booming right now in terms of all of the like Steam Deck, Raj, Ally, the other stuff, the other ones. And there's more of them coming out like every 2 months. And then Microsoft is also doing their own portable console with ROG Ally, I think. They're working with them. Yeah. So it makes sense that PlayStation or Sony would also jump on the bandwagon, especially seeing how the Portal was like a surprise success for them. They just need to make a stronger Portal and they'll be fine. Like, it just makes a lot of sense to me. What's your thoughts?
I feel like they're a jealous boyfriend trying to figure out where you're going. What's he got that I don't got?
Right.
Are
you gonna leave
me? Sony's in a good place, I guess. I don't know. They're just trying to. It's a hastily thrown up survey.
Yeah. So
we'll see. Yeah, we it's hard to tell what this is all about.
And we can't forget that, Sony was in the handheld market for a bit with the PSP and the PS Vita, but then that kind of fell by the wayside because people wasn't supporting it. But I think
they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the memory stick duo BS.
Yeah. And
but MDU, I mean,
or whatever.
I get it. Yeah, UMDs. Yeah. But
there you go.
I get it.
Yeah, and it is to note that like this handheld, like the Portal type of handheld, is a different handheld than the Vita in terms of what developers would be responsible for in terms of having to make a separate version of their game for the Vita versus just, we just have to scale down everything a bit for the, Portal 2 or whatever, or Portal 2 or whatever they make. So yeah, that's that. That's there's not too much happening there other than the survey is out and kind of makes sense in terms of where we are in the console market. The last for the bit of news, number 4, Microsoft's Quake 2 AI experiment sparked negative reaction. Who would have thunk? This comes to us from VGC by way of Andy Robinson. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we kind of talked about it before in terms of Microsoft testing out this generative AI model that's able to generate game visuals, controller actions, or both, apparently. So yeah, they made this weird Quake 2 demo.
Mm-hmm.
It's noted that the interactions with enemies needed to be improved since they will often appear fuzzy, and that's because the current context length is 0.9 seconds of gameplay, 9 frames at 10 frames per second. What are we
blazing
doing?
Speed?
Right? Like, what are we doing here? Like, okay, sure. I don't know where the benefit lies with this. Like, how can you? I guess I think the original assumption was that this can be used for brainstorming ideas, but like, I guess I don't know. This just feels super weird and a waste of time. But I don't know. I'm not in the room, so I can't make that decision other than I can just say it on this podcast and just, jump to the next thing, which is what we've been playing. Sean, what have you been playing?
Man, so I finally finished Immortals of Avium. Solid game. I think it was well written, I will say. Gameplay could have been tightened up a little bit. Felt a little ever so slightly clunky, but that may be just because of they may have been intentional. I did enjoy it. I found myself enjoying it more than what the hell is that game? Veilguard? Dragon Age Veilguard?
Almost say Inquisition. Yeah, Veilguard.
I found myself wanting to explore every nook and cranny to find all these little neat puzzles and chests that they had hidden away. But when it got close to the end, I was like, all right, I kind of get this thing where I'm done with games because I thought I wanted to platinum it, but I hate games that tie the achievements. I can understand it, but I hate games that tie achievements to difficulty level.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
yeah.
I played at the normal level. I think they had like 4 easy, normal, hard, extra, whatever. The enemies are very spongy. Or maybe it's because I didn't. No, the enemies are just very spongy.
Yeah.
Unless you like doing some synergy BS, but other than that, it was an interesting story. I had I think her name is Gina Torres as one of the main characters. What was she in?
The black lady?
Yeah. I'm about to tell you who she is right now.
I thought she
She
was
is
in,
Lawrence Fishburne's wife. She was in Suits, 911, Serenity, Firefly. I think I love my wife. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
solid game. It's a shame that people didn't want to try something new. This was the studio's first game or something like that,
and the last I think they got shut down.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I also played it. I played it for a little bit.
Oh, you know what? He's the voice of Ikora Ray in Destiny.
Oh, okay.
Destiny 1 and 2. But anyway, yeah, you said you tried Immortals?
I did, yeah. And
when?
I don't know, at some point, I don't know.
Anyway, go ahead.
I downloaded it and just like started it up. But like I played about maybe almost an hour or so of it. And I was like, oh, you know what? This isn't too bad. Like this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then you know what? I played it before the Monster Hunter 2 title update. Because I was just kind of, kicking rocks around, figuring out what to play or whatever. So I played it then. I had a good time with it. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll come back to it. But then Monster Hunter title update dropped. And I've been kind of playing that since and kind of running through that. So I'm just going to go ahead and like, in terms of Immortals, like I didn't even get to fight a proper enemy yet. I was in the very beginning. I think yeah, I couldn't even really tell you story-wise what happened. They're about to they just finished having that the supper with the kids or whatever. Okay,
when they were still orphan types in their little shack houses up above the void. Yeah, you didn't even get to any of the real action.
Exactly. Yeah. I double jumped and I shot stuff at a wall. But yeah, I still have it on my console, so I definitely probably go back to it and just
I'll check it out.
Yeah, play around with it some more. But in terms of Monster Hunter, they had a title update. They introduced 2 new monsters. I am not a like OG Monster Hunter person, so I couldn't really rattle. Okay. They introduced 1 new monster, and the second monster is the last boss monster that you fight at the end of the vanilla story, but you can refight. You can just keep fighting him now. The one monster that they add is a water dragon that shoots out bubbles. It's really cool. It's kind of a fun fight. And the second monster, which is the end monsters you fight, that thing is hard, man. It. So I'll be brief because we're at the end of the podcast and we're at the hour mark. But like, all through playing Monster Hunter, I was having a great time with it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, there's challenge here, but it's not enough where you feel like you're hitting your head against the wall. Yeah. And the diehard Monster Hunter people are just like, I hate that. I want this to be hard. I want these monsters to like I want to feel the slow crawl to get up to the skill level to actually beat these monsters and so on and so forth. And I'm like, I don't want any of that. I want to have a good time. And I feel like the monster or the end monster that they added like a tempered version of it, like basically a hardened version of that monster. He gives you that like, man, I'm kind of crawling right now. Like I'm just trying to dodge these moves. I'm trying to like avoid the AoE effects. Like, oh, he's about to drop a nuke fireball. Let me get out the way. Like, I like the fact that they gave this to you after you beat the game. So like you're already like kind of, ingrained in like the systems, and it doesn't feel that unfair. I will continue to say that I think the boss is hard, but he's not unfair. Like it took me maybe like an hour of trying, where like each attempt was probably like 15 minutes, 16 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, because people just wiped real quickly. But eventually I got there and I beat it once. I was like, oh, bet. I got some materials from it. And I was like, all right, well, I can start crafting the armor for this monster to, get its power essentially. And I got there. I craft the entire armor set. So like now I'm going into the weapons and figure out what weapons I want to craft. So it's that process of Monster Hunter. And it's like, you know what? This feels good. This feels great. But I think I am getting to the point of Monster Hunter where I can confidently and safely put it down in a good place. So whenever the next title update, the next monster drops, I can pick it back up and have these high-powered armor, high-powered weapons, and be able to play that monster and not really struggle. So I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I'm getting there. Yeah, I don't think I ever gave Monster Hunter a score, but if I would give it a score, I'd probably give it like a 8.5. Yeah, probably 8.5. I think the story was fun, but it's not anything that I will probably remember this time next year. It's just a story to service what you're doing in the game, which is hunting the monsters. Now, the monsters and the monster fighting, that stuff I'll remember way past next year, because that stuff is really cool. Like I have a clip of a monster was running from me because I put the paws on it, and it jumped down this waterfall or whatever. And on my little bird reptile thing, I jumped off the waterfall and I jumped off my sacred, and I was like flying down. And like I just happened to catch the monster. I landed on his back and started beating the back of his neck. It was cool. It was cool.
Shireen wasn't proof.
No, she didn't at all. But it is what it is. I need his parts. I need his bones. So what am I going to do? I'm gonna kill it. That's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, that's it. That's Monster Hunter. That's Immortals. That's PlayStation maybe bringing back its Vita. That's the Switch 2 news. That is Marathon happening sometime this week. And this is the Press X Start Gamers Digest podcast, which is a news show that give you all the latest news that you can get in this past week. Blah, blah, blah. You already heard at the beginning. Twice. Actually, no, just once, because technology sucks. All right. Well, that's it. We did it. This is the show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you have a great time playing your games, washing your hands, washing your ass, and saving your money, because boy, you're gonna need it for that Switch 2 and all that stuff that comes with it. All right, yeah. So we'll see you next time. We'll talk more about Marathon and if that game is going to be a hit or if it's going to be another Concord. Hopefully not a Concord. Please don't let that be another Concord, okay? Last thing I need is Jordan having another set of memes to give me. All right, Bungie? So please don't do that. All right, y'all. See you later.
Peace.